Hello, I'm joined today by my guest, Lisa Williamson from No Letting Go. Lisa is the head of compliance there at No Letting Go, and we're here today to try and answer some very commonly asked questions when it comes to claiming deposits back and disputes that may arise. And these things tend to sort of follow the same pattern every time. There is a commonality between a lot of these things because they do very often come up, and we always, as agents, we always don't know whether or not something is classed as wear and tear or whether something is actually torn beyond belief and needs to be repaired. And we're very surprised sometimes with some of the answers given during adjudication. So here to cast some light on that is Lisa. Lisa, welcome.
Thanks very much, David. Thank you very much for inviting me along today.
The other area that often comes under discussion is because it's annoying, because you need it to look good for the next tenant, or you may be remarketing the property, but when somebody moves out, you'll want the gardens to look their best. And not everybody is an avid gardener. But in this case, we've got a landlord who would like to claim for the lawn to be mowed. It is in the obligations of the tenant within the actual letting agreement, but they didn't provide a lawnmower to the tenant at the beginning of the tenancy. So, I mean, I would liken this to providing a tenant with a Hoover so that they can clean a property. We all know that tenants have got obligations, but does the landlord have an obligation to give them the means of actually fulfilling those obligations, or do we expect that lawn to be cut regardless?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same opinion as you. You don't give the tenants necessarily a vacuum cleaner or cleaning detergents, and yet they're still expected to keep the property clean. So unless the tenancy agreement says the tenants are obliged to keep the garden maintained subject to the landlord providing a lawnmower and relevant equipment, gardening equipment, unless it says that, which I've yet to see in 35 years, a tenancy agreement that does say that. They always say the tenants, if there is an obligation, it is the tenants are obliged to keep the gardens in a similar condition. So no, there's no responsibility for the landlord to provide a lawnmower or gardening equipment unless it's specifically stated in the tenancy. But of course, the problem is with seasons. You've got tenants moving in autumn when the garden is going to be covered in leaves and the grass slightly overgrown. Then they might move out in June and the grass is still overgrown and there's weeds evident, and then unless you've got really good photographs, very difficult to tell whether there's been an overall deterioration in the condition of the garden. That becomes quite tricky.
It all comes down to the quality of that documentation. I suppose time of the year as well is going to have bearing on that.